The Real Show is brought to you by UCS Facility Management Limited, Omni Basic Bank, and Dewdrop Hand Sanitizer.
Welcome back to The Real Show, and if you just joined us, we just finished the first segment of the show and we are about to have an amazing conversation with my next guest. I am super excited and I'm sure you're wondering why. Watch this introductory video and I will reveal my amazing guest to you.
Bridget Otoo is a broadcast journalist and a communications consultant. She is a presenter and an anchor on Metro TV Ghana. She's the host of Newsnight and One-on-One Show, a graduate of the Ghana Institute of Journalism with a career spanning more than 18 years. Bridget was the host of You and the Police and New Day Breakfast TV on TV3. She is a film director and a screenplay writer. She is a lead content creator and communications specialist for Medimax Ghana Limited. Her role has seen her consult for a number of high-profile organizations in the financial and hospitality industries. She is also an entrepreneur and owns cement distribution outlets. Bridget is a member of the Ghana Journalists Association and the Institute of Public Relations. With her considerable training in human rights and corporate governance, she is inspired by the fearless women in politics and hopes to do more to defend victims of sexual harassment and sexual assault in Ghana. Welcome, Bridget, to the Real Show Studios.
Welcome. That
Hi,
beautiful smile.
I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to
I am honored to have you.
be in your presence. I watch you and it's a great pleasure to actually be here. Yes.
Okay, now after this, I'm done. I'm a big star because my most senior just said it's an honor. No, it's an honor for me to have you. Thank you so much for gracing us.
No, it's a pleasure.
Now, Bridget, I'm too excited, so let me just calm down.
Yes.
Why journalism though?
It was never the dream, really.
Wow.
I just, as a little girl, I loved watching television. Until this day, I'm a couch potato. So I would watch Miss Ghana. I would see, and when I got much older, I was seeing, Gifty Auntie. And I really loved the way, her neck, the way she looked on television. I thought, oh, I could do that. I can be that. But as to whether I knew that there was a purpose to it, I had no idea. It was until I got into the school, I realized what power we had, that we could change the narrative, we could make a whole lot of impact by just being who we are as journalists. It's when it became serious, when I thought, wow, I think I could do so much more with this space, with this industry, and I'm happy I did eventually.
Wow. Now, with your experience of 20 years and counting,
I didn't know. I didn't know that. I actually did. I don't. I think probably they added my years in GIJ too, as a trainee journalist, and it's quite humbling to say the least. I'm extremely passionate about it. When I put my eye on something, I want to see it to the very end. And my heart just can't stop, beating until we see the results. So I'm more result oriented. So anything. I remember when I was in GIJ, for instance, back at home, somebody had a police case, and we had a student journalism ID card. And I remember going to the secondary police station and said, look, I'm a journalist. If you don't release this man, this is what happens. I had no idea, but it worked. They literally released the man. I knew the person. He thought, the police had picked him up. They didn't read him his rights, nothing. And I just knew some few things. Went there, did booga, and, we got him out. So it's those things that, keep you in this. And even when you leave, there's still a part of you. You never really completely leave journalism. You're out, but you're in because you follow the news every single day. If you're not on television, on radio, if you're not writing, you're tweeting or Facebooking, so trending, hashtagging, they're all part of journalism.
Great, but how did you feel when you had your first job as a journalist?
Wow.
And what job is that, if you can recall?
No, it was, the funny thing, it's always been journalism. It's always been journalism. My first job was in journalism, it was with Sky Television. And, I remember going there And going in, I thought, they said, oh, she was going to read the news. I was so excited about it. Yeah, going to read the news. I didn't know what it meant, but I was. But we know when the final list came out, I wasn't part of it. No, I didn't give up, of course not, because newscast is not the profession. The profession is to tell the story, be a journalist, tell the stories that matter, not to sit on television and read the news. So I didn't give up. They just thought I had a shrilled voice. So I got a specialist to train me, and I got better, and I got back on television. I did. So it was just fulfilling. It was nice to have a job at a very, very young age, and I was just happy that I had a job, but I didn't know the impact of that job. Yeah.
Well, years back, you interviewed the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and you asked the question that in fact, it made the news. Can you tell us about the real story, what happened? No,
I actually don't quite remember it, because there were so many stories that came out of that interview. Okay. So I don't remember the specific question, but there were so many stories that came out of it. I was just happy I didn't make the news, because when you interview a newsmaker, the newsmaker has to make the news. And I mean, at the time, I think he talked about progressive, free SHS, that we're going to build lots of schools. They mentioned the number that they were going to build. There were quite a number of things that we talked about. I can't remember anything from there, to be honest, to be very honest with you.
But would you say that incident affected your career in any way?
No, never. I think everything that has happened to me, anything, whether it's called scandal, media, I learned from Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell says there's nothing like bad publicity. Every publicity is important. So I have never, if it's affected my career, it will be positive. I've never had any negative slump in my career. Every other thing, unless you don't know how to use it, if you don't know how to monetize it, I think a lot of the time people just want the attention for the attention's sake, and they have no idea how to leverage on that attention to monetize it. Because at the end of the day, what's the point? You're famous, you have no money. I would rather stay in my house, in my little enclosed space, and breathe, than to have all the attention around me and struggle to get food to eat and struggle to just, get buy clothes to wear. No, I'd rather not. But rather learn to be strategic about the kind of attention you seek. I think I'm good at it.
No, we know you're good at it. Well, looking at the fact that it takes a lot to get into political journalism,
right?
Yes, would you say that that sort of affects how you're seen in the industry, and also at a point you detoured into entrepreneurship?
Yes.
Can you tell us how entrepreneurship has been, the journey, getting into the whole cement distribution and all that?
I think political journalism is one of the toughest, and especially for a woman.
Exactly.
Because you would have men who would belittle you. I have to admit and say that I have not had that, but I've seen it happen to a lot of people. Because one, they try to test your intelligence to see if you understand the issues you're talking about. And then there's this whole calculated strategic attack. And it's different when it comes to women. And so a lot of the times the attacks would just make a woman sit and question herself, is this worth it? So I'd rather, let me just do, the easy one. But nothing is easy. Doing entertainment journalism is not easy. It's difficult. So might as well do all of it. But I think because the politics you're talking about, governance, you're entrusting the entire resources of the country to a particular group. And you say, as a woman, you will talk about it. And so we will show you, we will let our party people show you. And a lot of the time people are just not comfortable with that kind of narrative. And then also when there's a lot of personal attacks. That is tough, yes. And like you said, in 2017, January, on my mother's birthday, I thought I had had enough. And I just walked. I left journalism. Nothing happened. I just walked into, I dropped my letter. And I told them I wasn't going to do it again. I had said that before the elections. So EC, I think I announced it. I was the correspondent at the Election Commission headquarters. So after I announced that Nana Akufo-Addo had won the elections, I took my leave around that time because it's a holiday, so you get a lot of days off. I took my leave, and then later I brought the letter. They tried to convince me. I said no, and I left. And I didn't know what to do. So I tried my hands on different things. It didn't work. So I ended up, eventually moving out of the city, going a bit further. And it was when I found cement, and I'm so in love with cement, and I proudly call myself the cement slayer.
Oh, the cement slayer. Now that's cute.
Of course, you have to slay it and slay it well. Yes.
But how has that journey been so far?
Cement is not an easy business. I mean, a lot of people are excited and they want to get into it, especially because they see that I'm into it. And I'm excited and happy for them. What I would say that you have to really pay attention to it every single day. I remember a former professional footballer calling me one time and say, much older, footballer, called me and said that, Bridget, it's okay. People are going to steal from you. And that's okay, because I was so into it, I wanted to know everything, what's going here, what's going there. I had a whole system built from the UK that was helping me to run the business, so I could cut down on my losses, because, the margins are so small, just one city. So if somebody takes your 1,000 or 2,000 city, they've literally killed you. That's profits on the whole truck, So I was just micromanaging everything. And that when I had, and so I was tired, I was getting sick and always drained, getting migraine. And then, that call changed everything. I said, Bridget, it's okay. It's okay if people steal from you. Just relax and let the business run. And that single advice has kind of changed everything. And I'm relaxed. That's why I'm able to even do metro television and leave my business. That's it.
Yes. I was going to ask, how are you able to keep your eye on it now that you're back to work?
I have an amazing partner who helps me do that. So he does his day job and then, tries to combine this, to help us. So he'll pass there, check everything is okay. And then, in the evening, I go back and then we try to reconcile things. And apart from that, I think I've also had some great people to work with, and they've been very consistent in, helping me maintain the business. And I think the customers have been great. It's a very competitive environment. I mean, just so if my shop is here, we have about 3 or 4 other shops. For some reason, we sell very good. I'd like to think that we have great customer service. So shout out to all my customers. So I'd like to think that, it's also because we are there for the customers, and if we don't treat them well, Maya Angelou said that, look, people may forget what you say to them, but they never forget how you make them feel. So I'd like to believe that we make them feel good when they come to our shop, and that's why. So that's how we've managed, to juggle both Metro TV and this. But this is, for me, TV is a natural environment. I didn't have to learn anything. I just came back. Yes, I was a bit rusty at the very beginning, trying to come on TV again, sitting in front of the camera. I think the first time I was like, but I knew nobody would know that I'm nervous, so that's okay. But I was a bit nervous. But with the cement, I have to literally learn, taking stock, selling to people, being humble. Imagine, I mean, the whole country knows that I'm not humble. But imagine coming to my shop and I'm so humble. It's like, oh, Madam Pacho, it took people like a year and I think maybe about 18 months before they got to know it was my shop.
Wow.
And I'll tell you the story. There was this time a guy came to sit in front of me. He was so rude, passed a lot of sexist comments. Wow. I didn't say anything. Then when he was done, he said, Matisha shop where a journalist be done. I say, Madam.
So surprised.
He knelt down. Aww. I said, but no. It means this is how you treat my shop girls when you come here. This is how you speak to them. And you must never, ever speak to them like that. Because he was not provoked. He just walked in, hey, hey, you're nice. Get up, dude. I was like, oh, boss, me pacho, oh, boss, all of that. And then I heard, he says, oh, Matissa is shopping, a journalist, I'm saying, meow. You see, so it's also
very interesting.
It was, and it's also made me feel kind of sad for my girls because I only have girls in the shop. I'm thinking that okay, and then imagine a guy comes in, does this, but won't say the truth, and will call me and say your girl was rude to me.
Yes.
And I will only take it on her and say, no, please don't do that. Don't spoil my business. Yes, customer first, yes. But having that first-hand experience opened me up, opened my mind up to, what is possible. And I spoke to the girls, and the last time, I drove there, and I literally walked the customer. I said, nope, we do not want money from everybody.
No, we spoke of political journalism.
Yes.
Would you say Ghanaians are at a point where at least majority of us can understand that maybe trying to assess a government isn't necessarily a political thing, right? But is your right, or is something that you are even doing right as a citizen by trying to, talk about?
100%. That's exactly what it is. I mean, people need to understand. I'm happy that we have a president who, in his inaugural speech, said, I want you to criticize me, Don't be spectators, be citizens. Because, together we build this nation.
Yes.
And when you entrust your resources into a particular group, you have every right to demand the best from them. Now, not everybody is as privileged as you and I, and don't have the platforms that we do. So what we can do is to use our platform to tell their stories, to share their frustrations, their issues. And it's only for government. So government, this is a mirror, right, to them. So we, through the eyes of the people, tell their stories. And they see that, okay, there's a road in that little community. The road hasn't been done. Who is the DC or who is the MP for that area? Who is the minister who comes from that region? And they fix it. So we are literally helping in building this nation to make it what it is. And I don't see how anybody should be mad. You're only mad when you're literally, I think people naturally get mad when they are being paid to get mad. It's not like they are mad, but they are being paid to be mad, because, that's your job as a foot soldier. But, deep down, I'm sure in their quiet moments, when they are sober, looking at the ceiling and looking at the reflection, they know we're telling their story.
Yes,
they
and when
know
they're
that
being objective.
Absolutely, yes. So that kind of public, pageantry, show off, it's just for the cameras. It means absolutely nothing because we're all in it.
Exactly.
If things are expensive, we feel it. When we go to the pump, they don't say, bring your NPP card, bring your NDC card. Okay, petrol, we buy the same thing, right? We're paying school fees, or it's the same thing. It's the same experiences, the same hardship. So the hardships doesn't discriminate. So, but then we are in a privileged position to tell it, and I'm proud that every day we get to tell these stories. They say every other job comes with hazard. I see it as hazard. I just shrug it off and, and go to the next one, on to the next one. We'll keep doing it.
Yes, we have to keep doing it.
Right.
And looking at the fact that you just mentioned, you like the statement even the current president mentioned, let's look at the just ended elections.
Right.
You actively stood in for the NDC. Why that?
Oh, I thought they had a fantastic team. John Mahama and Jane. I was so looking forward to having a female, the first female president.
Well, I was excited too.
And they were so close. Professor Jane Nanopoku is a fantastic woman. She's qualified, in fact, overqualified, more qualified than the former president. With all due respect to the former president. And she was educated. She was about the issues. There was never a story about her, about how beautiful she looked or which attire. It was always about what she delivered, her achievement. And when she sat on a platform with a panelist from it didn't matter which country, she stood out, she excelled, and it would have been great to see her at the Flagstaff House or Jubilee House, and that didn't happen. I hope she tries again. I have no regrets. I'll do it in a heartbeat. And I think that as a country, we need to get to that point, right, where you can be a journalist and have your bias, and it's okay, and that's okay. At least you recognize it, and you're honest about it. Yes. I think we're so used to dressing up things, pretending that we're in the middle somewhere, right? And we don't feel anything, and that's quite unfortunate. Go to the best of the countries that we try to copy, right? CNN, BBC. In fact, let me even go to the far right and pick Fox News. They have their bias, and the people love it. And watch, some of the successful shows we have in this country are shows that are politically biased because they have a certain following. People want to hear certain things, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
The reality of the decorated truth or facts that they try to give us.
Absolutely. It's like me reading a story about a woman being killed or a pregnant woman dying and standing there reading like a stooge and pretending I feel nothing because they tell you that don't let it show. I can't do that. I can't pretend because I feel. Beyond the fact I may not have any relationship with them, but I feel because first of all, I'm human. Second, as a woman, she's lost a child or she has lost her life. A family has lost someone in their life. How can you not feel?
I like how real you are. Now let's talk about the fact that you are the face of primetime news on Metro TV as well as the one-on-one show. How has that been?
Being on news means that my opinion is heard less and less. Look, I'm opinionated. Everybody knows that. And so anytime I come on live, you know, all the goons will come because they want to hear what Bridget is going to say. But news does not allow you to express yourself. You only tell the stories that reporters have put together. It is nice to be back in front of the camera and hold policymakers accountable. It is nice when I get to interview and put questions across and have them, you know, answer to the people who voted for them. So I am just, you know, their representative or their mouthpiece, just in the way we ask the questions, in the way that our reporters go out and bring the stories in. And I just deliver, you know, what they give me. And it's surreal. You know, I can't believe it. I keep telling everybody in the newsroom, I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but every minute that I do it, I will enjoy it. And I hope that you also get to learn, especially the young ones. They get to learn from me. And I hope that when I leave, and I will leave Metro TV at some point. Okay, it's too early. Don't shake. I'm not leaving now.
Well, thank God we let you here.
Right, that whenever that time is and I leave, I hope that I would have made some impact on them and left a mark to know, like Beyonce said, I was here, I lived, I loved, yeah, I was here. Yeah.
I
Everything
did.
that I wanted. It was
Everything
more
that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone know I was here.
And I just want you to know that I did my best, right? Lived my best. Make sure that I brought happiness to people, something like, I love that song. That's how I want my life to be. That when I leave, you know that I was here. That's it.
No, we know you're here already. And you're feeling the heat. We're super proud of you, looking up to you.
No, to you too.
How do you handle challenges in life?
I don't know. How do I handle challenge? It's a tough question. I know. No.
Pressure from everywhere because you're on TV.
Right. I actually don't feel social media pressure. If anything, I think I give a lot of people on social media a lot of pressure. I keep saying that, look, when I go to the doctor, I can read my BP to them before they tell me. You know, I don't let anything bother me. I don't see anything as a challenge. I see it as an opportunity to be better. So what you think you're putting in my way as a challenge, I'll see that, how do we go around this? How do we make this better? I mean, anybody who's working will tell you now. And look, I'm not the easiest of persons to work with. I mean, if you can work with me, probably you can work with anybody under the sun. And my bosses will tell you, because I am never shy to express myself, to express my opinion, to let you know. And I hope that, you know, my kids, I hope they are like that. And I hope that a lot of young people speak out, because we come from a society that prefers that excites and glorifies humility. A society that would say, a woman, you shouldn't do that. Oh, your dress is too short. You know, why you dress? Your lipstick is too much. And I am so against all of those things, because what's the liberation in that? What's the freedom in that? We should be able to live as free as we can. And if, as journalists, I keep saying this, if you're in a newsroom and you cannot express yourself, be free, how the hell do you expect to stand in front of a politician and ask him those tough questions? Because they can bully you too. So in that space, I think people rather find it challenging working with me. I'll be very honest. I mean, look.
Who would you say you look up to in the industry?
Wow. So many people have shaped my life in so many different ways. So many people. Look, my colleague Nana Banamwa, I think she was interviewed some time ago, and she said she thinks that her biggest trait, or her most compelling trait, is her grit. And I agreed with her. It's not easy for a person to reinvent herself over and over, and I think she's done that over the years. And it's a trait I admire in her. It takes a lot of intelligence, a lot of calculated effort to be at the very top for so many years. And I think that's what she's done, and so well. Roland Walker is also another colleague, and what I love about him is his authenticity and the way in which he makes himself available. Roland offers me advice on no one. I think I probably listen to him than anybody. Probably he's the only person who can, okay, he and Randy Abbey, yes. Who will come in and say, no, don't do that, don't say this. Then I would listen to them. It's the approach they use. And so many, and look, and I'm inspired by John Dramani Mahama. You know, I'm a big fan. I'm not shy to say that. It's because I think it's the way he handles adversity. You can be his biggest critic. If he sees you out, he'll reach out and shake your hands. And Manasseh Azuri has said that on several occasions. Reverend Owusu Bempa has said that on several occasions. I haven't experienced that, but it is interesting to hear that. My only experience of him was was the last year in Tamale. So my sister and I were going to Tamale to the Gambaga witches camp. I hate mentioning about witches camp. We're going to, engage the women there. And we were on a flight and they said, oh, we're waiting for a VIP. And so we sat maybe 5 minutes, tarmac, the family comes in. And it was Mr. John Dramani Mahama and his wife and their children. And they were flying with us. And we felt, so I was like, oh, we are important.
Time wouldn't let us talk too much.
I know.
Can you give us some parting words? I can't skip
parting
that side,
words.
yes.
Look, Mr. Emmanuel Day to me said something that I have never forgotten. He said, when you fall, it's not as important as what you pick from the ground. And that statement has never left me. Wow. When you fall, it's not as important. Because what? Guess what? Gold comes from the ground, right? Yes. So when you fall, it's how you decide to pick yourself from the ground is what makes the difference. It's not the fall, but there's something you learn from the fall. Yep.
So when you fall, it's not the fall, but what you pick from the floor that matters. And usually when you hit the ground, the only way left is up.
I'm on my way up.
I'm on my way up.
Nothing can stop me.
This is the real show, and the energy here is positive and off the roof. But we have to go. Thanks for sticking with us. Same time next week. Have a lovely evening.